And
Yeah.
even lately, I heard someone, they kept saying short-lived. And I was like, that's wrong. And then I
Come
heard
on,
another
that
book
feels
where
like
they
an easy
said
one.
short-lived. I'm like, am I wrong? Have I been saying short-lived wrong my entire life? And then my mom came over and she said something short-lived. I'm like, where the hell are you getting this? I learned to speak from you. And she's like, well,
It's
I
like,
heard
well, you've been
someone
listening
say,
to
and
this
she goes, I
audiobook.
heard someone say short-lived the other day, and I thought I've been saying it wrong my whole life. I'm like, no, we're right. Stick to your guns. It's short-lived. Let's talk about audiobooks because you just told me that you just listened to your first audiobook, and that surprises me because you have several audiobooks and you were in audio before I was.
Yeah, I blew your mind with that one. It's weird. And I do have several audiobooks, and I just now listened to my first audiobook ever. And I don't know why not. And here's the other weird thing about it. I listen to podcasts all the time. Like, I don't listen to radio anymore. I barely listen to music anymore. I just listen to podcasts. I love podcasts. I love learning things through audio. It's a very natural fit then to listen to audiobooks. I think that I did some deep soul searching about this because it also surprised me. I think what I came up with is, for a long time, I grappled with this which I have now come to think of as a very, very silly argument, about, like, does it count, quote unquote, if you listen to a book? I think for a long time I was of the opinion that it doesn't, like, I didn't want to really go down that path. Like, and I don't know why I ever thought that. Like, it's silly because I don't need to prove to anyone that I can read, because I can read. Like,
all the tests are done. All the pop quizzes are over.
Yeah. And, like, I'm a college professor, by God, I can read and people know it. I don't have to.
I'm probably literate.
Yeah, you would think so. And the fact that I write books suggests probably I can read things. So,
I don't, first I wouldn't, I felt the same way. I really did. It was, I think I felt I had to sit with the book and absorb the words and read the rhythm and all that. But what happened was there was no other way I was going to get something read. Like, they're just like, I mean, it became a matter of time. I don't have a work commute. So it's like I'd be on the treadmill. If I was driving somewhere, I could put on an audiobook, but it was really the only way I was going to get through. There was a bunch of stuff I wanted to read and hear, or have read, and there was no other way I was going to get around to it. So yeah. I finally got into it, and now it's not so bad. I also found the ability to speed up the narrator is got rid of the other thing. It frustrates me how fast narrators read on audiobooks. So being able to listen to it at 1.5, 2 is much more reasonable.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of it too. The commute is a big deal because for a long time I was in Chicago and I was spending a lot of time on the trains, and so that was a good reading time for me. And so it felt like, I have this time to read. I can read. Now I'm in rural Virginia. I don't have public transit anymore, so I don't have that time anymore. And also I'm spending my time at home, working on writing, working on content, working on, whatever. But so it suddenly was like, oh, actually, this seems like the best and maybe only option for me to actually consume books right now. And it's great. And one of the things that I'm really loving about it is the narrator can just add such a new dimension to the story, which is the case in the first book that I have ever listened to as an audiobook. That's not one of my own, which is Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm so glad I started with this one because the story is great. I never thought I would like a lit RPG because that's not my, I like playing video games. I don't want to read a video game. The samples of books that are lit RPG I've read in the past, I've been so bored by. This is an extraordinary example of how good it can be to me. And he's right up, I think, you're in my alley in terms of his style of writing and his character development. So I've been loving it, but Jeff Hayes, the narrator, is extraordinary. I mean, he is incredible. He's doing all in the version I have, he's doing all the voices, male, female, alien, monster. He's doing all of them. And he is incredibly talented. And he just, it's this wonderful layer of performance over the base rock of a really great story. And in some ways, I was talking to my friend Kara is one who really pushed. A lot of people recommended this series to me. My good friend Kara was like, Clayton, listen, you have to read this. And if you don't like it, I'll pay you $1,000. And she would pay me $1,000 if I didn't like it. And she's never made that bet once and lost. And so I was like, all right, I'll do it. But she's only read the books. And I feel like I've gotten actually a richer experience from listening to Jeff do the voices and do the narration than she has. So and I've been telling her about it. Now, her plan is very soon she's going to go back and do the audiobooks now instead to get that like new version of it. So I don't know why it took me so long. It's horrible. I'm very ashamed, and I'm very excited that I'm here now. Now I'm on book 3. I'm almost done with book 3 of the the Carl series, and God, can't wait to just keep on keeping this going.
I haven't gotten to 3. I listened to the first one just last month. Obviously, I've heard of Carl for a long time. A lot of my readers read it.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of yours do too. Like you say, we shared. I think certainly the reverency and the sense of humor, I think, is right along those lines. I have read some other lit RPG, and Carl does do it a lot differently. It takes the statistics that are usually delivered very dryly and really enriches them. I think a lot of it, like you say, has to do with the way it's read. I did the audiobook as well. And the narrator can add so much. And from an author perspective, one thing that I've enjoyed so much is a lot of listeners, a lot of my readers came from following my narrator from another book, from another series. They found the narrator that does most of my books, Phil Thron, read the Space Team series by Barry Hutchison. And people get right through, like, I mean, now that you've listened to it a couple, like, you'll know that anything Hayes does, he's not going to do it halfway.
Right.
So, it's like, what's the next book I get? Well, what else did he read? And I think audiobook listeners will follow a narrator more than they'll follow an author.
Yeah.
Like they kind of don't care who this guy reads, as long as this is the guy that's in your ear all day. And it's been, for me, I've got a ton of readers just coming from the Space Team books to the Duck and Cover series or the Zombie series, because, and they are, they're all humorous, so it works great. But it's been a huge boon for me.
Yeah.
For that.
Well, and I'm a voracious podcast listener. So again, the fact that it took me so long to get to audiobooks is mystifying. But I have the same deal. Like, there are some podcasters who I'm just like, I think this is a good show, but the voice for some reason in my ears is not. I can't deal. I don't like it, so I don't listen to it. But when I hear people who sound great to my ears, I do go immediately and check, like, what else do you do? Do you have any other podcasts?
Yeah.
And I think that's same for audio. And the more I've been kind of digging into it recently, this will not be surprising to you, I'm sure. Like, there are a lot of people, like on Reddit, on Goodreads, whatever, who are saying, like, I can't listen to this narrator because, like, something he does is just grates on me. Yeah. And that's a personal thing, of course, but it is like you follow, you like have this, like, this dual columns of, like, narrators who are great, narrators who hurt my ears. And if it's one that hurts your ears, you're never going to listen to them no matter what they read. But if it's one that you like, you might listen to everything they narrate, even if it's bad. I will definitely start looking out for Jeff Hayes' work from this point on, because he's amazing. And I'll look out for Matt Denneman's work. I'll go back to his old catalog and see, what's up. But it really is, there's something that it's a whole new dimension to things. And with my favorite narrator for my books, Patrick Lawler, who does the Apocalypticon series. The other thing that's been really cool for that is, now that we just finished book 4, he just wrapped up the audiobook recording, the initial one for book 4. So that'll be dropping soon. We connected on social media because he had questions for me about, some certain lines in one of the manuscripts, and we connected, and it's now he's like a collaborator on the series. Now we just connect outside of the book, the audiobook publishing company, which I use for that series. And he and I get to chat and we talk, and he asks me questions and I ask him questions, and I say, do you, and he likes the series so much and the story, and he knows it so intimately because he has read it more times than I have, right? Because he has, like, the pass through and then the recording. So I will sometimes ask him questions like, do you think this would play? And he'll tell me very honestly, and he's been a great partner, actually. And then I get all these fans of the books who will say like, hey, just so you know, like, I bought the paperback or I bought the Kindle, but I'm waiting until Patrick releases his because that's how I want to experience it first.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah. I saw that it was during the pandemic. Audiobooks just exploded for me. I figured people aren't commuting, people don't have the time, but I think what happened was everybody went into their headphones to ignore their spouse to get work done. My neighbor mowed his yard every day. I swear
that's too many times.
I think for lack of a better thing to do in like the early days, like just
I'm gonna go outside. Here. It's loud. No one can get into my bubble.
It was gorgeous. The weather was nice. Windows were open, and just out of frustration or nothing else to do, he mowed every day. Maybe he was listening to audiobooks too. I don't know, but they blew up back then, and it became a big part of my business. Audiobooks for a while there, it was all that was going, and and during that time, I finally started listening to them as well, and I had tried before just because I had a long commute when I was working and I went to the library and got the books on disc, and I hated the narrators, and I'd get angry and I'd yell at them for mispronouncing things or not pronouncing them things like I pronounce them in this region. It was like, and even lately I heard someone, they kept saying short-lived. And I was like, that's wrong. And then I heard another book where they said short-lived. I'm like, am I wrong? Have I been saying short-lived wrong my entire life? And then my mom came over and she said something short-lived. I'm like, where the hell are you getting this? I learned to speak from you. And she's like, well, I heard someone say, she goes, I heard someone say short-lived the other day, and I thought I've been saying it wrong my whole life. I'm like, no, we're right. Stick to your guns. It's short-lived. But they're a narrator. I couldn't stand them, but I finally gave it another shot again. And now it's like, I love it. I mean, it's for a lot of times it's this way or it's not going to get read.
Yeah.
I still prefer to sit down and read nonfiction. I don't know why. I like to mark things. I like to not fold pages, but put bookmarks in there, or whatever. I don't think I absorb things as well when I listen to them. So it's more for entertainment. But what has surprised me is being able to listen to it. Like I would probably read it 2x or 3x or whatever. So listening to it at 1x speed just drives me crazy, but so I'll put it at 2. And my feel was always I'd zone out and have to go back, but it's really surprised me how much I can follow along only half paying attention.
Yeah.
Though at the same time, if I get a review that says, well, I wasn't really listening, but I didn't like it, I get very upset.
Right. Right.
I was listening on rebuilding an engine block and doing this, and I think I heard him say something about this, and now I think the author's a jerk. Like, that's really not fair to me or the guy you were rebuilding the engine block for.
Can I ask you, so the one hang up I still have about audiobooks is when people say, what are you reading? Do you say I'm reading this book? Do you couch it by saying, well, I'm listening? I heard you say earlier in this conversation, I listened to it, and I get hung up on that too. Should we just start saying I'm reading it and just let it go?
No, I'm not a snob about it. And I don't care how you want to get the story into your head, as long as you're participating, whether you're reading, watching, listening, whatever. But it's just not reading. I mean, reading is reading. It's a thing. Listening is listening. It's a different thing. There's nothing, it doesn't discredit it. It still counts as a book read, but I guess I'm too pedantic. I'm going to get hung up on that word. I will, at the same time, I put up on Facebook, like, what are you reading this week? Here's what I've got. And it's usually the audiobook I'm on. Yeah. So I don't know. I've seen fights start up, little dust up start on Facebook over, well, you're not reading, and like, whatever. As long as you're enjoying it, however you enjoy it, I'm good with it. Yeah. It takes some time to get used to. Here's the weird thing though. Like I'm better with it now, but when I first started listening to audiobooks, I could not stand to listen to a third person perspective audiobook, but really? I had no problem with a first person POV. Huh. It was weird. I didn't like hearing he did this, they did that. But if it was someone saying, I went here, I did this, it was almost more like having a conversation.
Yeah. Interesting.
And it really was very strange. And I'm trying to think, I think most of what I've been listening to lately has been first person. So,
well, it's interesting because the Dungeon Crawler Carl series is first person. So I wonder if I will bristle at a third person.
Yeah, it was
narrative.
just weird. I
I'll
think the first stuff I did, it may have been the narrator too, but I think I tend to like, which is okay. It gets even stranger, and even more of why I'm a busted individual is I prefer reading third person. I don't like reading first person as much.
Huh.
So, it's the flip flop from the audiobooks, but it's weird. Yeah.
So what we've learned
it's
here
obviously
is
my own hang up. I don't think
sure,
it has
but no,
anything to
I
do.
think this is important because we have to have our books in every format. So there's something for everyone. That's what I'm taking away from this conversation.
That's absolutely it.